our last speaker for this session is Prasenjit Majumdar, and he will talk about the FIRE initiative in India.
Good morning. First, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting us to present perhaps the most youngest evaluation campaign. Well, this is FIRE. We are calling it as Forum for Information Retrieval Evaluation in India. So here is the organization of my today's talk. So, well, this is India. Most of you know, the map, the geographical boundaries. The only thing I would like to mention here that it is multilingual, and not only multilingual, but also multi-script. So there are about 25 official languages in India, and beside that, about 150 more, where the number of speakers are considerably big, but they didn't get the official status yet. And there are at least more than 10 dialects for each languages. Those are being considered as official here. And there are 12 official scripts. So I suppose I can explain the motivation of taking up this assignment. So the lingual diversity, yes, there are about 4 linguistic division, if we can divide languages, from the Indo-Aryan, Sino-Tibetan, the Dravidian, so about which, if we just consider the Indian subcontinent that comprises these countries beside India, the Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan. So it comprises about 1300 million population. So, and the representation of these languages in web is not comparable with that of English or Chinese, Japanese, and the other important languages. But the growth rate is considerably big, and here is one statistics that I collected from Wikipedia. The growth rate is about 700%. A little bit of history. So we started this campaign on 2008, but before that, there was a government initiative that starts from 2007 called a project called Cross-Lingual Information Access. It's a consortium of 10 Indian universities, and the purpose of that consortium was to undertake projects related to multilingual information retrieval for the parliament, as well as to do machine translation and related NLP tasks. So at that time, we planned to take part in CLE on the same year, in 2007, by translating the CLE queries and just to test that how things that we have developed so far for machine translation and other things is working actually on the IR test beds. Carol was very kind enough to host a special Indian language track on that year, 2007. On the following year, in 2008, we come up with corpus, text collections. But in 2007, there were no text collection as such. We just started with translated queries. From 2008, we started collecting, or rather creating text collection in the Kernfield way. And the first, rather only track that was proposed or that we had on 2008 was the ad hoc task on different Indian languages. I will just show you how many languages we managed to cover on the first year and how many are yet to be. So the last installment of FIRE we had recently on February 2010 with a couple of more tracks. The next FIRE is been scheduled on 2011 December. The dates are not finalized yet, but roughly I can say that the cycle of FIRE is about 14 to 16 months, more or less in the line of NTCIR. And while we were defining the first FIRE dates, Noriko was very kind to help us to how to schedule it, and she visited our lab and took several. So this was the, for 2008, the languages we covered so far were Bengali, Hindi, English, and Marathi. Although the major plan was to cover up 6 Indian languages, as the CLIA consortium funded by Government of India they were asking us to add up 2 more, like Tamil and Punjabi. But, creating text collection, getting volunteers to get the relevant judgments and other things is a little difficult. So we could not manage those things at that time. In 2008, there were 25 training topics with 50 test topics. And the languages, you can just notice the query languages were different. Additionally, the Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Punjabi, and Gujarati. So Gujarati was the new inclusion this year. In the last FIRE we had. Beside these monolingual and crosslingual tasks, the last FIRE we added a collection of translated queries. This idea came from Gareth, that actually entering Indian languages directly in the web, say if you want to write an email, if you want to do some chat or anything, it's a little difficult, as the keyboards are not supporting every features of keying the compound characters. There are certain language specialties that we do have in Indian languages. So even today, the youngsters are very happy to, or rather they like to enter Indian languages in Roman scripts. So it's a huge data available in the web, in the Yahoo groups, in the Google groups. You will find that people are reporting in, say, Punjabi, but the script is Roman. So, and also sometimes we try to find out our information need, check with the transliterated queries, instead of giving the query in the Bengali script or Hindi script or something like that. So transliterated queries are one important thing to search the Indian web. Well, back to the map again. So here you can just have an idea that these are the languages we covered so far, the areas. But one thing I must mention here is that although you see the size of the area covered by Hindi language is the biggest one, and Hindi is one of the official language of India. And the size of the Bengali language, the green one on the eastern side, is perhaps the smallest one. It seems so, but if we go by population, India is very thickly populated as you go from west to east. Very thickly populated in the eastern part is more populated than the western part. So although the size of Bengali language looks, the geographical domain looks so small, you can just check the graph beside where I tried to pick up top 6 languages by population collected from Wikipedia. You can find the last member is Bengali, the 6th one. And the 4th one is a combination of Hindi and Urdu. Although Hindi and Urdu are different languages, but due to substantial overlap in vocabulary and certain things, they are considered together. There is no good reason to consider them together because the scripts are also different, and Urdu is never written in Hindi script. So 2 of the major Indian languages are in the top 6 languages by population, if you go by population in the bar. So this is this is another track beside ad hoc that we introduced in the last 2010 last installment of FIRE. So it was being proposed by IBM, IBM India, IBM IRL, and the idea was to classify the messages and do regular ad hoc retrieval task. The data we collected from, rather they collected from Ubuntu users archive. So this was the size, the corpus size, taking a cue from LN that yes, size does matter, but we are a long way to go on that direction to create really sizable language corpora and other things. This is another pilot task was proposed and executed by Yahoo India. They're calling it as Weekend. So the idea is that to find Wikipedia pages related to entities mentioned in the Yahoo News. So they will provide a query page from Yahoo News, and we need to identify the Wikipedia pages related to the entities mentioned. And here is a sample of the Yahoo News. The entities are marked by red and followed by the Wikipedia pages. Sure. So the size, again, just to have an idea. So here are the participants. We are very grateful that people, we get, initially, we were overwhelmed with being a very small initiative. We started on 2008. There were 64 runs, and now it just doubled, a little more than double. And there are a few new groups they joined this year in 2010. So the regular techniques they tried on a new language, they got it. So based on the results we get in 2008 FIRE, we plan a special issue on ACM transaction on TALIP, and the first issue is just out. The first part of that issue is just out. You can have a look, and there are more interesting experiments reported. So these are the, well, I could say challenges or prospects, whatever you can just coin it. We need wider participation. We need really to know whether things are working or not. Diversity in the pool, so creating, that's a big challenge for us. We are yet to introduce that manual relevant judgment thing to make those collections more complete. We are working on that. We need to introduce more new languages, new Indian languages. So keeping these tasks in mind, so basically the idea is to build communities in India. So community building is one big task that the government is trying to put in front of us. So we planned a winter school this December in Bangalore, where we would like to introduce the basic things to the upcoming researchers there. And we will also talk about the new task proposal. So keeping everything in mind, there is a new society being established, Information Retrieval Society of India, and this will eventually take over the FIRE initiative, FIRE campaign henceforth. And the government of India is, it seems now, they're a bit keen to get involved in these initiatives and putting some fund there. So, thank you. Questions?
Thank you very much, Prasenjit.